Thank you, Cole. Cole, you want to say hello, everybody, real quick? Everybody, y'all remember Cole? Here he is. Cole, man, he's brought down some products for our discussion tonight. So, you ready? Awesome, bud. Have a good night, okay? Welcome to another wonderful Chewing the Barbecue Fat here on Atlanta Barbecue Stores Facebook page, YouTube. Go ahead and like the page, share this page, do whatever you can. Let's get as much out as we can. We've got a lot going on tonight. I'm super excited. I got Brian Crawford coming on to talk about his rubs and his spritzes and sauces and everything else. For that, I want us to talk about what's happening next week. You all asked for me to see if I could bring on Emily with KCBS to discuss some of this stuff that we've been talking about. And she reached out and said she'd love to. So Emily is going to be coming on next Monday night, Chewing the Barbecue Fat here, Emily with KCBS. And we are so excited. Well, what I would like to do, I would like for y'all to either comment on here or send me a message or send Ellen a message at Atlanta Barbecue Store about what you want us to ask her, what you want to talk about, because the whole purpose of me getting her on was we had a lot of questions that we wanted to ask from KCBS. So now's your opportunity. Think about it. Send me a message, send Ellen a message, and let's have a great conversation with KCBS next week and see if we can't get some of the stuff that we want to hash it out, because that's what it's all about here on Chewing the Barbecue Fat. Had a great weekend. We went to Lyons, Georgia, competed. We did terrible, but we had a great time. The kids were out. Ellen was on her scooter. It was a tough weekend for her. Jimmy was not here, so that was a little different for us. But I had help with Roger, and we had a good time. They do a great job putting on contests. And Donald Cook with Who Cares took a grand. Hot Wachulas. Matt Barber got reserve. Great contest, great times. But tonight we've got one of our great products represented. Brian Crawford is going to come on tonight, and he's going to talk about his rubs, his spritzes, his sauces, and everything else. So feel free, ask away. How did he come up with the best rub in the world? We've got that here tonight. So, like I said, share the page, like the page, and let's get started. Brian, I'm going to bring you one up here. Hey, Brian Crawford. How you doing, man?
Hello, baseball fans.
That's right, yeah. Atlanta Braves are playing right now. Go Braves. But, Brian, introduce yourself. I mean, I know everybody knows your products, but I would like for you to have an opportunity to talk about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Brian Crawford, live in a suburb of San Antonio, Texas, proprietor of Crawfords BBQ. I have a total of 10 different products now. I think they're all phenomenal. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I got 4 rubs out, 4 spritzes, and 2 sauces. If you haven't tried them, please do. You won't be disappointed.
That's right. I mean, I think they're amazing. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. You were just named. Well, what was your seasonal just named? What happened there with that?
It's the best rub on the planet. Not
rub?
Just the country, the planet. So you could be on the other side of the world and take it with you, and you still be having the best rub on the planet. So I entered it in the American Royal best rub contest, and I was fortunate enough to win. So that was a great feeling. Great. I feel like it was a pretty good accomplishment. There was a lot of good rubs, a lot of well-named people that competed in that, and they were probably like, "Who the hell is Crawford's Barbecue?" But they've heard my name now, so it's a all-purpose rub. You know, I call it SA for seasonal, kind of a play on San Antonio, but it's basically an all-purpose rub. It's good on. You can use it all by itself. I use it as a base on every one of my proteins. It's good on vegetables. My wife uses it just everyday cooking. It's you name it, it's good on it. I use it to rim my michelada the other day. It was it's you name it, it's good for it.
Awesome. How did you come up with that?
Well,
Real quick, do you have the volume turned up on something? I'm hearing some feedback on some.
Okay.
Do you have it playing somewhere else?
No.
Okay. If not, that's fine.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Well, I came up with it because everybody, a lot of the rub people, as you know, they all have their own version of an AP, and so I thought that I could come up with a better version because there's a couple of things that I think an AP should have that most don't. One ingredient that I will divulge that mine has that most don't have is celery salt. I'm a big fan of celery salt. I think celery salt's very savory, and come to find out, I didn't know this at the time, but actually celery salt will help with a smoke ring. I didn't know that at the time, but I found out since then. So that's an added bonus. So especially for those guys out there cooking on pellet smokers and stuff that are struggling with this smoke ring, celery salt will help with that.
Very
But
good.
actually, out of all my rubs I came up with, I believe it or not, I spent I came up with the SA and less time. I spent less time creating it. And I did all the other ones, but go figure. It turned out to be the best rub.
Which one did you start?
My first rub was Alamo dust, and I created it for pork and poultry, but a lot of people are having a lot of good luck with chicken. Myself, I have really good luck using it on chicken. It's a great chicken rub. Not to say it's not a good rib rub, but I mean, when it comes to chicken, it's been winning chicken.
So you put the seasonal down, and then you come back on top with the Alamo dust.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. So what was your next rub?
My next rub after the Alamo dust was the burnt beef.
There you go, Paul Keltner.
Yep.
Better get you some burnt beef right here.
That was my interpretation of what not exactly what a Texas brisket should have on it, but my interpretation of it. I know a lot of people might argue with that because Texas briskets is supposed to be salt, pepper, garlic, but it's got more than that in it. But I think it has a really good. It's really great for briskets. That being said, it's good on all things beef. I mean, hamburgers, you name it. Whatever you want to put it on, it's good. It's good. I put it on my eggs in the morning. It's. But my primarily vision of it was brisket. It's very good.
Awesome. So I'm just going to read. We got MSG, salt, black pepper, natural beef flavor, garlic, coffee, sugar, onion, and then some food grade charcoal. I have a lot of people asking me about coffee and which rubs have coffee in them. Is that what made you decide to put coffee into your beef rub?
Well, coffee goes well with beef, in my opinion. So I figured I'd put a little bit of coffee in it and try it out. And just, coffee has that earthy flavor that one might want in their beef. It's very, it's kind of what it gives it flavors you would expect to get out of a good brisket.
Yeah. What I'm noticing here. So when you decided to make rubs and you came out with the Alamo dust, how did it take off? How did Crawford's take off? Or was that your first? Or did you go with some of the Spritzes and other
The
things?
Spritzes were my first products, actually.
Okay.
My first vision of coming up with some products was, okay, I need to have some products. My vision was come up with something nobody else has. Well, nobody else has these Spritzes. If you think about it, there's not very many commercial Spritzes you could buy. A lot of people make them, and do different things. But so I thought, well, where's the void in the market? That's Spritzes. I use Spritzes. I was making Spritzes all the time. I spritz, most everything I cook at some point during the process. And I thought, well, I'll come up with some Spritzes. Nobody else has Spritzes. And so that's where I started out with the Spritzes.
And which one was your first?
The peach was the first one because that's my personal favorite. I like peach.
Awesome.
It works great on pork and chicken both. But in my mind, peach and pork really go well together.
I love that product. I think the peach spritz is an incredible product. When you use it, how are you using, or how would you tell somebody to use the peach spritz?
I'm using it in several different ways. Obviously, I'm spritzing with it, as the name says. But I also use a cup of it as part of my injection, and then I also will use it in my wrap as well. So it will be when I make my wrap, it's the main liquid in my wrap, and then I add some other goodies, brown sugar and whatnot into my wrap. So it's got all my spritzes have three major uses in my mind: in their injection, spritzing, obviously, and in a wrap. So those are the three main things.
So I know you've got your apple spritz also.
Yes, sir.
This even has a buttery flavor in it also. I mean, this is another product that it's where your peach spritz is super sweet, sugary or whatever. The apple seems to be a little bit more savory. Is that true?
Well, believe it or not, they all have butter in them.
Okay.
So I mean, some of the butter is more pronounced. The peach kind of masks the butter more than the apple does in the apple spritz. Mm-hmm. They have the same amount of butter in them.
Okay.
But and even my beef spritz has some butter in it.
Yes. So let's hold off on the beef because that one to me is, we'll talk about it in a little bit. What about your pineapple? So you got peach, you got apple, and there's pineapple.
Yes, sir.
What are you using the apple and the pineapple spritzes on?
Well, they're all for the same thing. Me personally, I use the peach because that's my personal preference. As opposed to some people prefer apple, so that's why I came up with the apple, and some people prefer pineapple because I feel like those three fruits just go so well with pork. When you think of any kind of fruit, or at least me, I think of those three fruits when it comes to pork. If you're going to pair any kind of fruits with a pork, those are predominantly three fruits that come to my mind anyway. And so I use all three of those in the same manner, spritzing my ribs and chicken or pork butt. It just happens to be that I prefer the peach over the other two because that's just my personal preference. Not to say it's any better, it's just my personal preference.
Yeah. So does the pineapple have the natural tendencies to break down the meat, or is it? Because if you're going to throw it into some of the injections, or what's your thoughts on that be?
Oh wow, man, you just went too complicated on me. If it's breaking down the meat, that's just an added bonus. I don't know. I be honest, I don't use the pineapple as much as I use the apple and the peach. That being said, I do know American Royal winner that used the pineapple on his ribs, but I will let his name remain nameless for now. I don't know if he wants me to divulge that. So, but the pineapple is very popular with some people. It's like I said, to each his own. That's why I got all three flavors. That way people can pick.
Right. So I will put those three in one category, right? I think so these are all for pork, right? You designed all these for
pork. Well, for me, it's pork and chicken. And if you want to put a little sweet on your beef, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's my mind, barbecue, it's whatever you feel like making it. If you're in your backyard and you feel like you want to put a little sweet on a brisket, go ahead and spray some peach on there. If that's what you want to do, there's no rule against it. And you're in your backyard, you're not trying to please the judge, you're just pleasing yourself.
That's right.
So
Tom Cleveland asked, what is the shelf life of the Spritz?
well, it's you have to refrigerate it after you open it. And I've had stuff, sitting. I got a bottle of apple sitting right here. Because at one time I had all my products sitting right there, and then I've used them, periodically because I ran out or whatever. And this apple has been sitting there for a couple of years, and it's still nothing wrong with it. So, I mean, I haven't really set something on the shelf just to see how long it's going to last. The date on them from my co-packer says, what's this one say? Hell,
These say 2022. Ones that I
yeah,
have.
so I mean, whatever the co-packer says, it's going to last at least that long, and usually they're deciding on the air of caution. So,
Yep.
but you for sure need to refrigerate them once you open them.
Right. All right. So next question would be: you have another rub, a newer rub, come out. We don't have yet. We will be getting it. What is that? What is that rub?
It's the Texas Steakhouse is the name of it, and it's a really dark rub, black rub. I mean, it's got quite a bit of activated charcoal in it. So, and the flavor on it is phenomenal. But the reason why I put the activated charcoal in it to make it so dark, for a couple of reasons. One, I can remember when I was a little kid and you get a steak at a restaurant and they probably wasn't cooking them on a grill like over charcoal, but you come out and it was all charred up and black and it tasted good. So that's kind of where the look I was going for. And also, if you're unfortunate enough to only have a pellet grill to be your only grill to cook on a steak, well, it'll help you get the color that you expect out of a steak, even if you don't have the real charcoal to get the char from real fire, real charcoal on it. So it will help you cheat to get the color that you want, and it tastes phenomenal.
Which I think is funny because we're trying to get that charcoal flavor in everything we do, but we use grill grates now and we completely cover up the fire coming through. So you're not really getting that char. We're cooking on the grill grates. So there could be something there. Can a Jambo cook a steak? Well, sure, it can cook a steak. Yeah, you just get you get that thing up there, put it on the microwave shelf, get you some grill grates and throw it up there. And I mean, why not? I don't know why you couldn't cook a steak on a Jambo. It just was a lot of work. I wouldn't do it, but
I would start a tomahawk on a Jambo, and then I'd finish it on a live fire kettle or PK or something.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean there's all kind of ways to cook steaks. I mean, we had a steak contest this weekend, an SCA event, and you had people cooking on all kind of different contraptions over there. So the steaks are, it's taken off, and it is what it is. You figure out what works best for you, and you find that cooker and roll with it. But the product that got my attention the most of yours, and this is just me because I'm learning and trying to do a bunch of stuff, but the one that is taking me by storm is the Crawford's beef spritz. I love this product.
Yeah,
I think this product right here is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about it and why is it so good? What is it that you made that so good?
Well, I got lucky on it being so good, I guess, because it's got all the things you want I designed it to use on brisket. You can use it on beef ribs, you can use it on a lot of other things, but it was designed for brisket. But, again, the sky's the limit on what you want to use it on. You can use it on cereal in the morning if you want. I don't care. But
just use it.
Yeah, just use it. Use a lot of it. You know, I'll keep making it. But it's got some butter in it that butter goes well with everything. And it's got a little sugar, and it's very beefy. So those three things complement brisket. And there's something about the beef Spritz that I don't know what I did to make it so magical. But when you put a cup of it in with your injection, I don't care what other liquid you're using in your injection, whether you're using water, some sort of broth, or whatever you're using. Use 1 cup of this beef Spritz, and it will do something magic in your injection because it how it just marries very well with well, for instance, if you're going to use say Lucky Charms, their Angry Bull,
Mm-hmm.
and that way it works very good with that. You know, I've used a lot of other brisket injections. You know, Texas Oil Dust, I've used a lot of his. Uh, but lots of them out there. It mixes very well with these powders for the injections, and it does something magic.
So we're at saying 20 ounces of liquid. Go ahead and throw a cup of this in, and then fill it up the
Yeah,
rest with water or whatever else you choose.
yeah. Well, for instance, I mean, I'm sure most people, or I assume anyway, I use about 3 cups of liquid when I make my brisket injection for
Right.
competition. I'm sure most people are making something along them lines. Whether you're using your au jus off your prior brisket or beef consomme or water or beef broth, whatever you're using, if instead of using 3 cups of that, use 2 cups of it, 1 cup of brisket, and it'll be a game changer for you.
There you go. I'm gonna have to add that to my next beef. I've never added it to my injection. I
Try it.
just I just spritz it throughout my cook. So
Well,
that'll be another layer.
yeah. So I use it in 3 ways. You know, I'm using my injection, I'm spritzing, and I use it as part of my wrap liquid,
Okay.
my mop liquid. So
Hmm. That's awesome. That's one thing that we're learning. That's why I want to bring on Brian as Brian from Crawford. I want him to explain to us why he did what he did and everything else. And
yeah.
Eric Estrada wants you to know that you are his hero, Brian. Um, so
I
glad.
am pleased.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Uh, but you also, and Cole did not bring down, you also have 2 other sauces, right? You have the Memphis Mistress
Yes, sir.
and the wing sauce, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your sauces that you have.
So the Memphis Mistress was just this sauce that I created that what I like, and how I came up with the name is when I gave my co-packer the recipe, and he made a batch of it and sent it back for me to taste. I asked him, "Well, what do you think of it?" And he said, "Well, it tastes like a cross between a Texas and a Memphis sauce." So then I was just laying in bed one night. I was like, Memphis Mistress. So Texas is the mistress.
There you
So
go.
that's that name. The rodeo sauce is a little bit funnier of a name, or how I came up with that name. The San Antonio Rodeo Cook-Off is, a big deal here in San Antonio. And I had a couple of my friends, one of them, Fong. I don't know if he's watching or not, but Fong likes to cook all the time. He's always cooking, which is good. I like it when he shows up to cook-off because you're never hungry. Uh, and so after the awards were over, and after we've been drinking beer all day long, he decides he wants to cook some wings. So he cooked some wings, and I had a half a bottle of Memphis Mistress, and I had a bottle of Frank's wing sauce. He mixed the two, and I thought, and I ate them. I thought, man, this is pretty damn good wing sauce. So I come up with the idea of somehow coming up implementing the two, and there you go. You got the rodeo wing sauce.
There you go. Sounds good. We got to. I'll have to make some wings. I was talking to Ellen today. I was like, man, we need to do some videos of cooking stuff and using these products out there and
Yeah.
having almost like a review.
It's,
So now that
if you like a buffalo kick, it's got a sweet tang at the beginning, and at the end, it's got a buffalo kick.
okay,
So it's a little bit of both. You get the sweet tang, and then you get the traditional buffalo that you often
Awesome.
associate with wings.
So if you were to tell our viewers or somebody that's going to watch this YouTube channel, if they needed to go to Atlanta Barbecue Store and buy 2 or 3 products, what would I mean? I know they're all great. Every one of these products are good because I've tried every one of them. They're all really good. But what would you say these are the must-have products in your line?
Well, the SA, it's the best rub on the planet. So how can you not want the best rub on the planet?
Amen. That's right.
The SA, it's hard to really narrow it down to 2 or 3, but a lot of I don't know who all your clientele is. I know a lot of them are competition cooks, but backyard cooks seems like maybe they're not injecting or spritzing as much. So I guess as a whole, I'd say get the rubs first. The rubs because everybody's using rubs. Some
Mm-hmm.
people want to spritz, some people don't want to spritz. Some people, a lot of people don't feel like injecting if they're cooking in their backyard. So get the rubs first,
There you
and
go.
then fall in love, and then keep on going down the product line. Get them all.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny. We've heard the Alamo dust. Tracy Hobson says Alamo dust. Paul Keltner says burnt beef. And then the planet, everybody on the planet has said that you need to have the SA, the seasonal, because it's the best rub on the planet.
Exactly.
And then I would tell you to try the peach spritz and the beef spritz also. The other, and then once you go from there, because hey, we talk to a lot of cooks that are starting up or at home cooks and backyard, whatever you want to call them, and just one like this peach spritz, just adding this to cooking your butt or cooking a rack of ribs, spraying it on there is going to make a world of difference. And I think you'll also learn about the rubs and the sugars and everything else with the color that you're going to get and how it affects different things. So to me, I would highly recommend getting all the rubs, of course. But if you want to take it to that next level, and just to impress your neighbors, impress the people in the cul-de-sac, whatever, I would say if you're cooking pork, jump on some of this peach spritz.
Yeah.
If you're going to cook beef or ribs or something along those lines, go ahead and get the beef spritz because this stuff is going to change it.
And I spritz my chicken too because here in Texas, IBCA is the predominant sanctioning body, and so we do chicken a little bit different than all the KCBS guys. We do half birds. Most of the KCBS guys, as you will know, are doing thighs and legs and whatnot, and the method of cooking is a little bit different here on the half birds. Most everybody's grilling them. They're using Weber kettles. I personally use a PK, but I spritz peach spritz on my chicken the whole time. I'm keeping that bird skin from burning, and it's adding and whether you're spritzing on pork or chicken, it's adding a sweet sugar peachness on there that's going to caramelize a little bit, and it's also keeping everything moist, and it's got goodness all throughout it.
So when you do it, are you just taking it, pouring it into a spray bottle, or are you mixing this with water? Or are you diluting it? What do you do? Straight up.
Yep.
And how often are you spritzing your chicken?
Well, the chicken, I'm cooking the chicken. It's about a 50-minute cook.
Okay.
So I'm spritzing it every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a fast cook, and you got to really watch it. Because I'm on a PK, so you can imagine it's hot. And I'm trying not to. It's a dance to get it to come out just right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like on your rib. That's what I was saying. The first time I used it, I went really heavy with the peach spritz, and I kind of burned it because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know what I was doing so much. Because that sugar has got a lot, and I know the peach more.
It's very sweet.
Say that again.
It's very sweet.
Yes, and that sugar will caramelize on you if you're not careful. So that's something that I think you're talking about. make sure you are watching it. Make sure you know what's going on. And I think that's what I was saying before. That's going to make you a better cook. If you're an at-home cook, try this stuff out. It's going to make you a better cook because you're going to start seeing what happens when you add these other um, products to them. Hector would like to know your chicken recipe.
Well, I'll be taking checks by mail. Send them to 10403, $1,000 a pop, and I will share my chicken recipe as the checks come in.
There you go. Perfect. But I can tell you right now, he's already told us. If you watch the show, there's seasonal on there and there's Alamo dust on there. And
Yeah.
it sounds to me as if you might have a little bit of peach spritz on there. I can't go any farther than that, but that's what I've gotten out of it.
And honestly, it's not so much that is exactly what I use. You know, my injection is I haven't fully disclosed, but those are the three things that go on top of it. And then I cook it hot on a PK, so it's a dance on that PK to get it done on time and not burn it and not, you know, if you could imagine, you know,
that's a long time to be on a grill. 50 minutes. I mean, I cook my chicken for 2 hours, but I'm not on open fire either, right? So
I do use grill grates, but it seems like every chicken cook goes different. It's not like I can just set it on there and check my watch and 50 minutes is going to be done. It's never that easy. It's I set it on there, you watch it, I'm spritzing it. You got those grill grate rack or the PK racks that go above, you know, to get it off the. Sometimes I have to put it on there because it's cooking too fast. There's times that I've had to take all the grates out and put the chicken on that grill grate rack and put it directly on the coals to finish it so it's done on time. And I'll never understand why I'm all over the place every time. It's never the same when I cook it because I'm putting the same amount of coals, the same amount of charcoal every time. I buy the same size of bird every time, but it's a constant. I had to watch it like a hawk, and like I said, I'm all over the place. I'm having to raise it on another rack. I'm taking the grill grates off. I'm putting the grill grates back on. Sometimes I got to put it directly on the coals to finish off. It's a rodeo, but the Met is as stressful as that 50 minutes is while I'm cooking before turn in. Because usually after chicken turn in, I have to have a beer. It's time to start drinking beer. But it works for me. I've had a lot of success in chicken. Chicken is my most successful category. As much as I would rather brisket be my most successful category. I mean, brisket's king. Everybody wants to be king of brisket, but evidently brisket's my second successful category. But chicken is where I've had the best success in for whatever reason. But it's not a smooth cook. It's a stressful 50 minutes. Trust me.
So when does that turn in? At what point in time does chicken turn in the IBCA?
12 o'clock.
Okay. And so what's the next turn in?
Ribs is 1:30 and brisket's 3. So we get quite a bit of time between turn-ins, which I don't mind because it allows us to, you know, myself and a lot of guys I know are one-man cooks. So, you know, you don't have to stress between turn-ins every 30 minutes and having to run and build the boxes. But I do know a lot of people like the KCBS 30-minute turn-ins. And, you know, you get done and get the awards and get on down the road. But I don't mind. Sometimes it does seem like a bit long, but really the reason why it's so long is because the way IBCA judges, and hopefully we will be able to change that, streamline it a little bit more in the future. But the way they judge, you know, it's not a single round judging like KCBS. You know, in a big contest, it's going to be 3 rounds, and whether you like it or not, that's what it is, you know. And so, like what it boils down to is, especially in a big contest, your food's got to taste good cold, and as opposed to KCBS where people are eating your food while it's still perfect. It's still warm.
It's funny you mention a topic conversation in the KCBS world here lately is by the time it gets to brisket, they're saying now that brisket or pork is being given to the judges about the time brisket is turned in. So it's only 30 minutes, where and sometimes in your cases, it could be up to an hour when they try it. But it seems to be moving on right now is what people are trying to figure out. What is the food going to taste like 30 minutes later? And what can I do to give it that extra punch that lasts? And that's the kind of thing that I think these spritzes and your rubs are going to do. They're going to add that, because I've noticed a lot of them have MSG in it, right? Every one of the rubs have MSG. And to me, that's a great thing. That's what I want to see. This seasonal has really caught my attention because of some of those different things. And
it's a unique compared to a lot of other APs. I got some stuff that I felt like an AP deserves to have that others evidently didn't. So mine's a little different than others. So evidently it's good because it's the best rub on the planet.
That's right.
Exactly. I do got this.
Look at there.
There we go.
Congratulations. American Royal best rub on the planet. Can't beat it.
I don't get the trophy till next year, but they gave me the ribbons and most importantly, they gave me the check.
There you go. There you go.
So
that's awesome. So what is next for Crawford's Barbecue?
I have another rub I'm wanting to develop. Well, I got a couple different ideas, but I got lots of ideas actually. But the next thing in the pipe is probably going to be a rub that's going to have some bacon in it, because who doesn't like bacon?
I know.
So I feel like I'm gonna do something with that. A nice sweet bacon rub that would be good on some chicken or ribs, basically. That's next. I got some ideas for some sauces too. But I got a lot of ideas. I just need to have the money to come fulfill them.
There you go.
So,
and we all.
Yeah.
So Hector says it's great fun hanging out with you during your chicken cook. And then Eric Estrada wants to know why Hector doesn't like to cook chicken with him. But
so you don't win with chicken.
There you go. Eric says pineapple spritz on some pork butt. See, that's what's so neat to me is you got so many different options of the whatever you want. I mean, the peach, the apple, the pineapple, they're all gonna do different things. They're all completely different flavors, and they're gonna change that flavor profile pretty drastic. So, I mean, I think it's great seeing different stuff. That's one thing that has intrigued me more so with your line than anybody else's. Everybody's got the glazes and the rib glazes and this, that, and the other, but there's not really many spritzes out there.
Yeah.
And what you've done with these products are really impressive. And I do think people overlook the spritzes in their cooking process. And I think that's something that you can add. It's going to give it that extra layer of flavor that we're looking for. And go ahead.
One thing about all my products, the ones that I came out with and the ones that I will come out with, they will all be original. So it's not going to be a version of another product that's already been out. It's going to be an original product that's like, wow, I've never had that one. I've never had that. So I try to be original. Because
nice.
I don't want somebody to taste my product and say, well, it tastes like so and so's. I don't want to be that.
Yep. And I think you can tell. Vince Colonetta, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight. Hope everything's good out there in your part of the world. Well, good. Is there anything else that you want us to know about about Crawfords or anything else, Brian, while we've got you on here tonight?
Uh, well, I'm sure there's something I should be coming up with. Brilliant. Uh,
What is your favorite sanctioned body to cook? I mean, obviously you said you cook mostly IBCA. Do you ever go cook BCA contests, or are you cooking anything in the? Do you ever
well,
get to cook your KCBS?
I'm a lifetime KCBS member. That being said, I've never done a KCBS contest yet, but I plan on changing that very soon. Uh, I've I've been anxious to do some KCBS. The unfortunate thing about KCBS in South Texas is there's not a lot of them down here. Uh, but my schedule has not allowed me just to, it's a bigger, weekend commitment to drive to a KCBS contest. And some of the ones that have been close to here, for whatever reason, just didn't work out for me. But I got a lot of my friends now here in Texas that have been ripping up the KCBS world lately. Bill Purvis just
Mm-hmm.
grand champion, and I think it was Mississippi or something somewhere. He beat some really good cooks there, and Fred Robles, he's been lighting the KCBS world on fire, and my friend Lee Hickle, he's been doing real well, and Phil Breeding, those guys I like to cook with, and I've been kind of barbecue envy that they're running all over doing these KCBSs, and I hadn't had time or money to go with them, but it's something that's going to happen sooner or later. I really want to get my foot wet in KCBS because I feel like it's it's the it's the I love IBCA. Don't get me wrong, and a lot of great cooks in IBCA, but KCBS is affiliated with American Royal, the Jack. It's KCBS is what's the word I'm looking for? It's the pro series. You know, we're sometimes I feel like we're down here in AAA. I want to get up there in the pro series and take a couple swings at the plate and see what happens. And, have some fun. Try to have some success and also promote my brand. If I'm out there, there's no better way to promote your brand than getting out of state and meeting new cooks and if you start doing well, then you start getting a little bit of attention. Then there's no better way to promote your brand than winning.
Yep, getting calls. I would say KCBS is the one that's all over the country, right? So you can go
Yeah,
cook, you cook KCBS anywhere in the country, but if you're cooking at IBCA or GBA or BCA or St. Louis Barbecue Society, like all the FBA, they're regional, but you can get out the KCBS and you can compete against everybody. It's just like this weekend. We were in Lyons, Georgia, and I want to say there was 7 or 8 states represented,
yeah,
and in there. So it just they're all good sanctioning bodies. Every one of them are good. They all have their benefits. They're all good. It's just what you choose to get involved in.
yeah,
But I enjoy KCBS, and like I say, next week we have Emily coming on, the president of KCBS. She'll be in coming on chewing the barbecue fat with us. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. What you want to know, what you have to ask about. If there's anything you want to learn about KCBS, next week is the week to learn because we have Emily coming on. She is KCBS right now, so pretty cool.
That being said, IBCA is not, the KCBS guys come down here and they don't do well down here
Yeah,
most of the time because it's 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 a different beast to wrestle. It's just like for somebody like me going to KCBS, it's different.
right.
I gotta get some different cooking styles, tenderness factor and then the turning factor. Those things make a difference, and the same thing with when KCBS guys come down here. They a lot of times, if it's only one they only do one every once in a while, they don't generally do that well because we got a lot of good cooks here.
Yeah, It's just like you said, your chicken. You're cooking chicken on the PK grill, right? I mean, you're cooking a half a chicken instead of thighs and legs, and it's just a whole different ball game that a cook. I mean, you can see it with Fred and Bill and Lee. These guys they've left IBCA. They haven't left it. They've gone outside of IBCA and cooked some KCBS contests, and they're successful.
Yeah,
I mean, a good cook is a good cook.
yeah, good cook. But like, not to say KCBS guys can't come down there and kick some ass, but a lot of times they don't practice enough in our style and stuff, and to get the learning curve, because there's a learning curve with everything,
Right. But yeah, it's really cool to see, and like I said, the thing that's neat is we sell your product all over, right? We sell KCBS, people use it, BCA people use it, IBCA, GB. I mean, it's everywhere and it's successful. So if y'all haven't tried any of the Crawfords BBQ Rubs, like I say, the seasonal is the best rub on the planet. Burnt beef, man, I'm telling you, if you're looking for something a little different, a little coffee into it, run with this one. And then Alamo Dust, another wonderful product for chicken, for ribs, pork, whatever. Aaron, yeah, we all like all sectioning bodies, man. That's what keeps us rolling. But and like y'all already heard me talk about the Spritzes and what I think about the Spritzes. I think they're incredible. And it's just another product that we carry at Atlanta Barbecue Store that we stand behind and we swear by. I mean, it's something that is a great product, and I would recommend everybody try them out. So
I appreciate that.
I'm sure you would say the same thing. Yeah, Hector, I hope I'm saying your name right, Hector. Great barbecue is great barbecue anywhere. That's the there's once you cook something good, people start liking it. It's gonna hit. So, but well, all right, Brian. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I appreciate our conversation. It's been good fun. I've learned a lot. I always try. My whole goal is when I bring in somebody is to learn about why they developed the products and what was the background. And I think we learned that a little bit tonight of your spritzes and your rubs and everything else. So
I hope I can find time to come up to Georgia and do a KCBS against you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Come on. And one thing, real quick, if anybody has any questions or they want to know anything about your products, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, I have Facebook, Crawford's Barbecue. I have Instagram, BBQ Crawford, and on my Facebook, there's my email and my cell phone number. So I'm pretty accessible.
There you go, guys. So check him out, like his page, join his Instagram or whatever you do on Instagram, and get in there, ask away, because Brian's a great guy. He's going to tell you whatever you have. Any questions you have other than his his chicken injection, he's going to give you that information. And but thanks again, Brian, for a great night, and thank you all for tuning in tonight on Chewing the Barbecue Fat, and we will see you next week.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, man. Have a great one.
Yep.